I didn't realize how grateful I needed to be to Israel for this. I didn't realize how much it was in my interest that the government of a Middle Eastern country I've never been to and has very little effect on my life get decapitated and replaced with another government. I want to thank Israel for this. Is Iran the reason for any of this? Is Iran the reason that corporations in America just pillage and leave a trail of death and destruction in their wake? Is Iran the reason we have no health care? I mean, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
That's comedian Tim Dillon going scorched earth on Israel and war hawks in the media who are advocating for the United States to get involved in an all-out war with Iran. We'll hear more of his spicy takes in just a minute, Cenk, but initial thoughts here.
Yeah, thank God for guys like Dillon. If that hurts your feelings, I couldn't care less. So what we needed in this country was independent media. And so what we had was mainstream media, and it was a prison. It was an absolute prison where you couldn't get any opinion out that wasn't sanctioned by the special interests in Washington. Now there's a prison break, and we're in the populist woods. So now Tim Dillon and guys like him supported Trump, but there's nothing tying him financially or otherwise to Trump or anyone else. So they're saying, that's it. I'm gonna tell you the truth. And I don't work for establishment media. I don't need to lie to you. I don't have any sponsors that demand that I lie to you. I don't have any special interests that demand that I lie to you. So I'm gonna tell you the truth. The truth is we don't need to be in this war at all. Israel is trying to drag us into this war. And now how are they gonna shut up all the independent media? Okay, now you gotta shut up the Young Turks, which they've been trying to do for 20 some odd years. Then you gotta go shut up Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon and Andrew Schultz and Charlemagne. It's hard to shut all these people up, especially if you pretended that you were in favor of free speech, you were against cancel culture, and you were anti-war. So Donald Trump is in a lot of trouble because he is violating every single core tenet that he promised to his own voters. So let's give you a lot more of this and you see where it's coming from.
Yeah, Dillon focused his anti-war argument on the fact that people here in the United States have more pressing things to worry about than Iran's nuclear program.
Your own society is declining perpetually, year after year. Annually, things get worse. People are fleeing. And you're out there saying the most important thing to the British working class or the American working class is that the Iranian regime is decapitated with Israeli airstrikes? Can you imagine knocking on the door of a double-wide trailer and grabbing a person who is 5 months away from being homeless in our country and asking them their biggest problem? How do you think the word Iran is gonna come up much? How do we get in this position? Well, Iran. When your insurance won't cover a knee operation and you have to go bankrupt to replace your hip, is your main concern that Iran be decapitated? This is the craziest I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, what about our own backyard? Along these same lines, here is Dillon explaining how the majority of American voters in 2024 felt about funding another country's wars when our own house just does not seem to be in order.
They didn't see commerce. They didn't see families running around. They saw desolate, crime-ridden cities. They were unable to send their kids to a decent college. They were unable to own a house. And they felt like giving money to the Ukraine or giving money to Israel for endless wars, years and years. Whether you support them morally or not, just a reality that they go on years, 2 years, 3 years, billions and billions and billions of dollars. I think a lot of people looked at that and went, this doesn't make any sense. It's not rational that the country that we live in is seemingly in terminal, irreversible decline and that nobody can do anything about it. But we must be all over the world funding things here and there that your kids on TikTok come up to you and go, why are we doing this? His baby just got beheaded, and you have to go, well, it's complicated.
All right, so there's that clip. And finally, here is Tim Dillon directly calling out the war hawks in the media, the elite, for pushing us into a war that will have no actual effect on them personally.
The people that are pushing for these wars, like, and the guys that are very like blasé and casual about them, Thomas Friedman of the New York Times, Sam Harris, all these guys, they're all sitting in beautiful homes. Their wives are playing tennis. The kids are in the pool. They're eating a nice lunch. And they're typing a column about how good it is that someone somewhere is getting bombed, that someone is laying in their bed at night and bombs are going off. These guys have never been in a war. They've covered wars, whatever that means. I'm sure all these guys, Douglas Murray, they're always at a war. They're always having cocktails at a war, but they're never fighting the war, but they're having cocktails at the war, canapes. They're at like a meet and greet at the war.
So yeah, Cenk, I watch the cables in the morning and just kind of sample around. I was watching Morning Joe a little bit this morning before I got out the door. It does seem like these are pundits theorizing. And some, generals, they have on some people who have been to war, despite what Dillon says. But it just seems like everybody's out of touch with everyday Americans who are looking at this and saying, what about us?
Yeah, look, I know I'm unique on this, but I feel like the battle is joined. We've been out here for 20 years, the Young Turks, standing opposed against wars. I've been fighting those guys that he mentioned, Sam Harris, Thomas Friedman, for 20 straight years. Sam Harris, not say, I'm an atheist, but the Muslims are the worst. Wait, you either don't believe in religion or you do. What the hell is this? Muslims are the worst and they believe they're violent and all that stuff. I had a 3-hour debate with him. You can check it out. Thomas Friedman, always is defending the Democratic establishment, always defending Israel, always defending all the wars that we go into. And what do they do afterwards? The mainstream media, they come back and they go, "Oh, nobody could have seen it coming. Oh, we got lied into Iraq. Nobody could have seen it coming. We'll do better next time, right? Oh, Joe Biden is not young and dynamic. Nobody could have seen it coming. We'll do better next time." And here we are next time in Iran. They're the same exact thing. Iran could get a nuke, and then the next thing you know, it'll be a mushroom cloud. Will be our first thing. Oh my God! Any second now they're going to get a nuke. And then Netanyahu goes on TV. Brett Baer asks him on Fox News, "Hey, our intelligence, U.S. intelligence says they never even restarted their military nuclear program at all since 2003, at all. Did you know that the Grand Ayatollah has an edict out? You always hear the ones like, oh, we're going to destroy Israel. So that's it. We have to murder everyone in Iran because they theoretically, hypothetically wrote on a document once that they're going to destroy Israel, whatever the hell, right? In that same kind of edict, the Ayatollah said that it is a sin to develop a nuclear weapon. No, I don't believe him. Well, so you believe him on the other one, but you don't believe him on this one. Why? Because you're doing propaganda, right? So that's what the mainstream media does. And I've been fighting it for 20 straight years. And now all of a sudden, I got Tim Dillon and Rogan and Dave Smith and so many others, even Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Steve Bannon. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Saying, yeah, anti-war and we meant it. Anti-war and we meant it, okay? Look, whatever you think of their media leaders, their political leaders, I know so many on the left will tell you, no, all their voters are liars. They're not. Why would a voter be a liar? What's their incentive to lie? No, they said they were anti-war because they are anti-war. Can they get tricked into a war? Well, we're finding that out together right now. So a lot of their media guys proved to be true. Now saying, oh my God. Look, guys, I'm not saying these guys are great on other issues. Steve Bannon is a nightmare on other issues. Jack Posobiec, I couldn't disagree more with that guy on 1,000 issues, right? But they're all over their heirs, like Tim is, going, don't go in. Don't go in. This is not our war. This is Israel's war. And their voters are saying, don't go in. So that's why Trump's in a conundrum. I mean, I love the way that Dillon does it in a funny way, right? He's like, and he's right. Just think about that for a second. And then I'm going to go to you guys in the poll. So in fact, I'll give you one poll and then I come back to this thing. He said, we on the live chat, we're asking, what should the United States focus on? Because this is what he was asking. A, funding our allies' wars, or B, fixing our own problems. What do we got there, 95 to 5? 5% say, no, let's spend all of our money funding other people's wars. 95% of Americans, now I get it, it's our poll, right? But go do your own poll. I bet you it's like CNN will do a poll and then bury it. I've seen them do that before. Well, it turns out 85% of Americans are against. Get this out of here. Never report that again, okay? Most Americans love Israel and think it's a special ally and think that we have to do this war for Israel like we did with Iraq, okay? And get rid of our own poll. Okay, so what Dillon said there is so on point, right? And that's part of why we're covering it. You go to a trailer park, go to a suburban home, go any American, knock on their door and say, give me your top 3 problems. Not one will list Iran, not one. Not one. Give me your top 5. Give me your top 20 problems. Not one will list Iran. Okay? They'll tell you about, oh my God, housing is so high, the drug prices are so high, my wages are too low, etc. But we're not spending money on that. None of that. None of that. We're taking away from Medicaid. We're taking away from Social Security offices. We're taking away from SNAP. We're taking away from everything just to give it to Israel to do this war. Come on. Come on. So a lot of our members wrote in SM said, MAGA has realized the scam. That's why I'm telling you guys, has all of MAGA realized it? No, but we've got more in a second. But a lot of them have recognized it. Take the win. It's never happened before. A United States of America? I know that you're not in the mood to unite with anybody if you're on the left and you see what's happening in the streets of LA, etc., right? But this is an actual anti-war coalition. Certainly 100% the libertarians mean it for sure. It's Just Vegas, another member on Twitch this time said, comedians probably know more about what's going on than the mainstream media hosts. I don't think that's even close. I think, first of all, an average Young Turks viewer is going to know about 20 times what a mainstream media reporter knows. Like if you did a quiz on the news, right? Are politicians affected by money that they receive? All Young Turks viewers would say yes. Almost every single mainstream media reporter would say no. It's already over, the quiz is already over, right? But we can go on and on and on. So ask him about how we got lied into the Iraq war, you can go on and on. It's just nothing but lies. Okay, we have one more vote. Poll, this one's on TYT.com. Do you believe that MAGA is truly rebelling against Trump in the war? And a lot of people have different opinions. I'm curious how you guys are gonna come out on this. No, they actually want war. A lot of people on the left believe that. No, I don't. They're all lying at all times. Even though they're all saying that they're anti-war, or tons of them are saying they're anti-war, I don't believe them, and I don't want their help, even though they're in power. I just want to hate them. B, no, they're against the war, but none of them are rebelling. Again, there's Dillon rebelling, and we're going to show you in a little bit, Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene, etc., rebelling. But anyway, C, yes, they are anti-war and are pushing Trump not to get involved. Okay, so curious what you guys think, TYT.com, but there's a lot of people on the left that are so mad at the right that we think, I don't want any help from them. I don't know, Sharon, I'm a practical person. We're not in charge. Trump is in charge. Trump is not going to listen to the left. But there is some chance that he's going to listen to his own base, which he does do a decent amount of times. And it looks like the base is turning. So I'm encouraged by that. When you look at the Dillon broadcast, what do you think?
I think, yeah, enough of them are turning against Trump, led by Dillon and others. I just wonder how much steam it'll pick up, but I think Trump does listen to the polls, Cenk. And I do think that when his base starts to erode a little bit, I mean, just look what he's doing with, we'll exempt the farmers, we'll do this and that with his immigration enforcement policies with ICE. So I think you're right. A lot of people on the left have blinders on because a lot of water under the bridge, and it seems like the floodgates are open and it keeps coming. But yeah, I think it makes sense, I do.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.